All right, let's talk about DK Metcalf for a second. And not highlight real DK. I'm talking about headline DK. Because this season, DK Metcalf didn't just play football. He gave us drama, redemption, chaos, and at least one moment where every PR person in the NFL screamed into a pillow. So the Steelers signed DK Metcalf to this massive deal. I'm talking generational money. The kind of contract where your bank account needs therapy just to process it. And Steelers fans are hyped. They're like, yes, finally, a receiver who's big, fast, and terrifying. Which is true. DK Metcalf looks like someone built a wide receiver in a lab and accidentally turned the intimidation slider all the way up. But then DK does what DK does. Somewhere along the way, he gets suspended for 2 games. Not for a football hit. Not for trash talk. Not even for a late shove. No, for getting into it with a fan. A fan. A regular human being who paid money to watch the game and accidentally unlocked the boss fight version of DK Metcalf. Imagine being that fan. You wake up that morning like, honey, I'm going to the game. Next thing you know, you're re-explaining to your co-workers why a professional athlete tried to turn you into a cautionary tale. And the NFL? Oh, the NFL did not play around. They said, cool. 2-game suspension. And by the way, we're voiding $45 million in guarantees. $45 million. That's not a fine. That's a financial jump scare. That's the league saying, we're disappointed in you, and we're taking your future. So DK disappears for 2 games, and Steelers fans are panicking. They're like, we're done. Season's over. We need him. And somehow the Steelers stumble into the playoffs anyway. Not because they dominated. Not because they were elite. Because another team missed a kick, that's how. Football works. You can do everything wrong, but if someone else messes up harder, congratulations, you're a playoff team. Now here's where it gets poetic. DK comes back right as the playoffs start, suspended. Humbled, lighter in the wallet, but still built like a Greek statue that learned how to run a 4.3. And now everyone is talking about redemption. Redemption. I love that word in sports. Because redemption in real life takes years. Apologies not growth. Accountability. In sports, you catch a touchdown and suddenly you're forgiven. You could knock over a grocery store display, scream at a referee, punch a mascot. But if you make a clutch catch on 3rd and long, America's like, people change. Charlie Batch comes out and says DK can redeem himself in the playoffs. And he's right. Because football is the only place where redemption is measured in yards. Not character, yards. DK himself says nothing. Just vibes. Just shows up like, yeah, I'm excited to be back. Love the team, no apology tour. No explanation. Just a guy who lost $45 million and said, anyway, throw me the ball, and honestly, that might be the most NFL thing ever. The fans are split. Half of them are like, he needs to grow up. The other half are like, is he open though? Because morality ends at the goal line, and now the Steelers head into the playoffs with DK back. And suddenly defenses are nervous again. Because you can talk about discipline all you want, but no one wants to line up across from a 6-foot for freight train who runs like he is late for something important. So what's the lesson here? If you're a normal person and you lose your temper, you lose your job. If you're DK Metcalf and you lose your temper, you lose millions, but gain a playoff redemption arc. That's football. That's America. And that's DK Metcalf 1 touchdown away from being forgiven by everyone except his accountant.